Hi everyone. What I'm going to do is just give an overview of how my online assessment management system works. Uh, the name that I gave this in the beginning was WeinbergCloud, and as vain as it is, it has stuck. I use this with my students to manage reassessments in my standards-based grading system. And I'm going to go through how this works and also some of the changes that I've made over time. So some of the biggest changes that I made to my system are related to the fact that any standards-based grading system should be centered on the standards themselves. So in the beginning, when I had done this, I had tried to program in a bunch of forms and settings that would would try to predict what I might want in the standards-based grading system. Now, with the changes that I've made, everything is based on the standards themselves. And you'll understand what I mean by this as I go through this. So the first thing that I want to show you is the standard system. So I can add standards for whatever courses I happen to be offering on this page here. So I have a number of courses here already. If I want to add a new course, I just put in a new course name and enter all the information here. So for right now, I have all my standards in place, so I'm not going to change anything. I can view those standards on this page. And so you'll be able to see that on the various courses that I have, the standards that I put in place for those courses. I can make these standards visible or not by clicking here. And by making these standards active, they are distributed throughout the rest of the system. So if I don't have any of these boxes checked, as I don't for these particular standards here, the students aren't going to be able to see any of those standards. So I get very fine control over what's visible for students. So if I want to, I can put all my standards in, and then at the beginning of the year, only select the standards that I want to be visible to students at any particular time. So all of these standards, if I want to edit them, I can do so. All of this capability is built in. So from all of the standards, one other thing, so on each of these, you're able to view what the standard is. And I do have kind of a resource capability of listing these. I haven't really used this yet this year for a number of reasons. So right now it's kind of dormant, but I'm fine with that. So with all of these standards, students have the ability to look at the standard and understand what it refers to. Let's take a look at the users now. For all of my users, let me just move out here. So for all of the users, I have a view of their email addresses and how many credits they have. Each user is subscribed to a particular set of standards. So for example, this student here is in Math 9, and these checkboxes come directly out of the standards that I showed you on the previous screen. So if I add a whole new course, that course will be added as one of the options here. So I can very easily add and subtract a user from a given course. So once I have selected a given user, what I can do is go to the course that the users, I can go to a specific course, and it will give me all of the users that belong to that particular course. And so as I switch around from one class to another, I can make it really easy to just see the users that I want to be seeing at any one particular time. I also, if there are potentially other teachers that are in the system, I can select that particular teacher and make it so that only the students for that teacher are visible. So when a student does work, usually it could be practice problems outside of class, or they come to tutoring. What I do is I go to that student's entry on this page, and if they've done a sufficient amount of work, I give them a credit. Now that credit is specific to this course. So you notice that this right here is my account. If I go to a different course, that credit disappears. So credits are specific to the course in which they're assigned. So students get a bunch of credits, and the idea is that once they have earned the credit, they can sign up for a reassessment related to that course. The credits are not stuck to any particular standard. I kind of want to keep it that way. That makes it so that if a student does work at some point and wants to reassess on a standard from early on in the course, there's no reason that they can't. So I want to leave that flexibility in there. So once students have credits that they can use, then if they want to sign up for a reassessment, they are only able to see this part of the menu. So they can go to reassessment sign up, and they will be able to pick from the courses that they are subscribed to. So I'm going to do Math 9 right now. If I go to one of the courses where I don't have any credits, I get this screen that tells me that I have no credits and I need to get some. So if I go to Math 9, where I just got my credit, I can go through and identify the standard. And the students are typically getting this from PowerSchool, so they can see the name of the standard, but when they select the name of the standard here, it pops up just to make sure that it's the one that they expect. And so if they click here, it takes you to the page that refers to that standard. And so just to check that, make sure, it's a nice little checking feature. They put in what their current mastery level is. That's also from PowerSchool. So let's say I'm a 7, and they tell me when in the day they want to sign up for a reassessment. So we could say before school, and right now I have it so that they're not able to sign up for same-day reassessments. So I hit sign up. Wait a moment for that to go through, and once it's through, it now shows up on my screen for upcoming reassessments. And so each student is going to have their own page where they can see what reassessments they've signed up for. In addition, as reassessments are completed, they'll have a list of what they have reassessed in the past, just so that they can see what they've done. And so if they want to edit or cancel those reassessments, they're very able to do that. So this is for individual students. Now let's look at what the teacher, me, what I'm able to see is I get a list of all of the reassessments that are out there. Now in this box here, what I'm able to see are all of the reassessments that have actually been put into the database. This used to be just a list that had the next 5 days, but I found that sometimes I maybe missed a reassessment on one particular day, or a student missed one, and so I would have to do some work in the console to actually find those. So for any day where a reassessment is still out there and it hasn't been completed, there's an entry in this box. So I can see who has signed up for reassessments on Monday or Tuesday of next week, and it's a really nice way to stay organized. And so what I'm able to do on this page is I can actually edit any of the reassessments that are in the system. If I want to cancel, if I talk to a student who says that they're not able to go and they ask me to cancel it, I can do that. Or they come in for a reassessment, they complete it, and I just hit the done button. And so if I hit done here and I go back to my personal page, it shows me that that reassessment has been completed. So this has made it really easy to stay organized. So I'm really happy about that. The other thing that I added very recently is the idea of credits. Credits is expiring. So credits have to be used within a certain amount of time. So this shows all of the credits that are currently out on my system. So you can kind of see everything that's out there. And I have the ability to set how long I want credits to last, so that on that previous page with all the users, when a student gets a credit, they have however many days are here to use that credit for a reassessment. And so when students sign up for reassessments, the oldest credit is used first, so that they're always using the most recent credits. They're always using the oldest credits, and the expiration isn't unfair, because it otherwise would be. If I want to make it so that all of the credits have a 10-day span, then I can just hit this button. I'm not going to do that right now. That just makes it so that no matter when the expiration dates of anything that's been given so far, that just makes it so that everything has the default expiration. But I can also click in here and manually change the date, which is really nice. I also have the ability to, so right now looking at these credits, anything with an exclamation point next to it is expired. Clearly I have a lot of these and I haven't expired yet. If I want to expire a credit, I just click on the fire button and it jumps down into the list of expired credits, expired or used credits. I also have the ability, if I want to set the default expiration length on just one of these, I can do that just with this button here. So right now everything is manual, and I just take a look every once in a while to see what's expired. Obviously I haven't really done that too recently. Again, I'll let it go, it's fine. So this way I kind of have manual control over what's expired and what's not. So this has been really nice. The students have known that their credits are going to expire, and so they have been a little bit more likely to sign up. And so I think that's only going to become more developed as time goes on. The last thing that I want to show is that I've created this function using some of the Khan Academy open source libraries that make it possible to add questions and make it so that these questions automatically are generated on the spot. So let me change the course. All right, so this is all set. And so I have a number of questions in here already. Right now it's still rendering some of the answers. So all of these questions, I can input a question just kind of using HTML. So I put a blog post recently that shows how to do this, but if I want a variable, I just type in the name of the variable that I'm going to use. And I can use some of the Khan Academy helper functions to generate some values. So this right here would generate an integer between -10 and 10 that I might want to use in a given problem. And so I can use this and some JavaScript in order to generate problems. And so you'll see that for all of these, I have some questions that use this idea to generate questions on the fly. I can edit these questions here. So you can see this is a question that's all about making sign diagrams and finding critical values. So you can see this is all sort of HTML. I just use this little @ symbol to indicate variables that I've defined. I've made it so that I can do a little bit of JavaScript in here if I want to do something special. I can also program in the answer so that it automatically calculates the answer. So what's really nice about this is I can sort of regenerate these questions until I see one that I want. So if a student is signed up in IB Math Year 1, if a student is signed up for Standard 2.4, then I can kind of make this a question that I want. And when I'm ready to assign questions to a student, I can actually hit the checkmark button. And maybe I also want them to do, let's find another IB Math Year 1. Here's another one here. Maybe I want to do, that one looks good, so select that. So now I have these two questions that I would like to assign to a particular student in IB Math. Let's say, so I want this to be IB Math Year 1. Okay, so that makes it so that it only shows the students that are, or the questions that are in that particular course. So now we can see those two. Let me reset this really quickly. And so I'll again select these two questions, and these have now been highlighted, and so I can select a student. I'll just select me, and when I do that, it will assign a quiz so that I will later on be able to see it. So I also now have a view of the quiz that I have just created. If I click here, I can see all of the quizzes that have been created, or I should be able to. This might be waiting for this to show up. Give that a little bit of time. Oh, I have to go to all quizzes, that's right. So this is the pending quizzes, quiz that hasn't been gone. I can make it so that this quiz is visible to the student. Right now, if a student went to his page, as I just did, and I confused myself with my own system, I can't see that I have any quizzes waiting for me. But on my side, on the teacher side, if I activate that quiz and I go to my quiz, and this is what the students would see, they can click on that quiz and they're able to see their quiz. Now, because I'm a teacher user, I'm able to see the answers that have been automatically calculated there, so I'm able to see it there. But the student is not able to see that. And so if I go back to all quizzes and I write that this is complete, what's nice about that is when a student then goes to see their quizzes, they're able to click there and see not just the question that they had, but the answers as well. So they have access to that forever, which has made it, which I think is going to make it kind of easy for them to go back and see, all right, did I understand this? What question did I get? And so it's really good for practice. So that's kind of it. I'm really excited about what I've been able to do. This is all made using the Meteor framework. And like I said, some of the code that I'm using to generate these questions is from Khan Academy. I got all of that from their GitHub site. And this is really making it easy to do standards-based grading. Like I said, I'm super excited about it. It's been a lot of fun learning to do this. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.